Bucky Brooks of the NFL Network released his 2.0 mock draft. Let's break it down. Now, this mock draft was created before Jalen Carter's arrest, so things are going to change. But since this was created before the arrest, I have no problems with 1 and 2 here. Of course, Jalen Carter will no longer go number 1 thanks to the arrest, but more details will come out later. Will Anderson, C.J. Stroud, both things make sense. In Daniel Jeremiah's draft, he flipped Will Anderson and Tyree Wilson. I think Pete Carroll would prefer Tyree Wilson. I think his length and versatility are going to be a plus for Seattle or Arizona. It's kind of funny they mentioned J.J. Watt. I mean, Will Anderson, J.J. Watt play different positions, but you do need a game changer for Arizona. C.J. Stroud going to Indianapolis makes a lot of sense. Pick number 6, both Daniel Jeremiah and Bucky Brooks like Myles Murphy. This is something I completely disagree with. Instead of getting another edge rusher, I would go corner here, but this is something that's been mocked quite a bit with the Detroit at 6 going with an edge rusher. I would go corner. Levis going to the Raiders. It's Levis or Levis. I always get it wrong. It's okay. Going to the Raiders at 7 makes a lot of sense. Now, Skarnansky at 8, I understand that the Falcons want to protect their offensive line, but they had 21 sacks last year. I think a bigger need would be the front 7. And I absolutely love this pick, Torrance going to the Panthers. However, if I'm Carolina and first-year head coach Frank Reich, I would go in a different direction here. This makes a lot of sense in a lot of ways, but if I'm picking number 9 overall, I would go in a different position than offensive line, unless it's a left tackle. I absolutely love Paris Johnson going to the Eagles at number 10. You get Lane Johnson coming back. You may play him at guard or have him be a swing tackle year 1, probably a starter in year 2. Absolutely love this. With the Tennessee Titans going Broderick Jones, I think he's a guard, but he could play right tackle, has some versatility here. Absolutely love this. The Texans going Jordan Addison. I have Quentin Johnson rated higher, but if you think Addison is the better target, go ahead and take him. I love it. Brian Brees at 13 is interesting because I think this is some risk versus reward here. Brees has somebody who has massive upside, but really didn't play like he's worth the 13th pick while he's at Clemson. Now, you put him next to Quinnen Williams. If he realizes this potential, this could be the best defensive line in football. It's kind of a risk here, but if it pans out, it could work. So I like the risk. I might go in a different direction myself, but if it pans out, it's going to be worth it. Brian Branch going to the Patriots at 14 is a lot of fun here. Makes a lot of sense. You get a Nick Saban player going to Bill Belichick. I love it. Pick number 15, my number 1 tight end, Michael Mayer going to the Green Bay Packers. This makes a lot of sense. You get a dynamic playmaker. 2-3 years from now, it would not surprise me if Mayer is the number 1 tight end in the National Football League. I think he's going to be that good. So it doesn't matter whether Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback or you go another direction. You get a guy who could be the number 1 target. As a rookie, I think he's that good. Washington going with Christian Gonzalez. You could flip-flop Gonzalez and Porter here. I wouldn't have a problem with that. But out of the two, you go with who you have ranked higher. So that would be Gonzalez to the Commanders. I don't have too much of an issue with this. Before the Combine, I have Porter as my number 1 corner, but I don't have a problem with this. Witherspoon at 18 to Detroit is a great fit. I would go corner early on if I was Detroit, and I'd go in a different direction at pick 18, but Witherspoon going to Detroit at 18 is interesting and also a good move. Keon White, I don't think lasts the 19, but him going to Tampa Bay is interesting. Does he play outside linebacker? Does he have 5 technique? I'm not really sure I'm on board with this. Now, I like the value at 19, but you drafted Logan Hall, who was a very similar player last year, and you drafted him early in the 2nd round. So I'm not sure you want to draft another player here. Your front 7's the strength of your team. I might go in a different direction, but you do get good value here. Seattle going Ringo at 20 is interesting because you got Tarek Woolen, you got Kobe Bryant. Do you need another guy there? Do you want to move Bryant inside? I'm not really sure what you do here. I don't have too much of a problem with Ringo going 20 to Seattle. Just is your starting defense going to have 3 corners? Is Ringo going to replace Bryant? These are some interesting questions to ask. You may want to go in a different direction. I absolutely love this pick, but John Robinson, I don't think falls past 21. I think the Chargers are really smart in picking him up because he goes 1-2 with Austin Eckler. They're different types of players. Austin Eckler and John Robinson are both 3-down players, but you can use them on the field at the same time. I love this pick for the Chargers. It's great value. I would be surprised if Robinson lasts pick number 21, but I absolutely do love this pick. Next, Baltimore taking JSN. Now, if the new offensive coordinator uses him the way he should be used, I absolutely love this pick, but if they're going to run a similar run-heavy offense that doesn't throw the ball very much except to the tight end, it could be a wasted pick. So this pick, while I like it, if it's used right, it could be a great pick, but it has to be used right. A lot of it depends on what Todd Monken can do. Forbes going to Minnesota at 23. I really like this a lot. Makes a lot of sense. You get new defensive coordinator Brian Flores comes in. You need a shutdown corner, so it wouldn't surprise me, day one starter. Now, I like Kincaid quite a bit. I think this is a great move if you don't re-sign Evan Ingram, but if you re-sign him, it's kind of a luxury pick. You may actually, if you re-sign Ingram, you may want to go Zay Flowers or Quentin Johnson instead. But if you sign Evan Ingram and then you go Kincaid, it's almost like you're wasting his talent. If you sign Ingram, I would go Flowers or Johnson instead. Johnson's my number 1 wide receiver. With the Giants, I understand them wanting to go Zay Flowers. You just released Kenny Galladay, who's the same size type player as Quentin Johnson. Quentin Johnson, my number 1 receiver. I would actually flip-flop these two, but if Quentin Johnson's available, Dallas takes him. If he's not available, I think Dallas passes on a wide receiver. I don't see them picking Zay Flowers, but I do see them taking the local kid. Quentin Johnson, my number 1 wide receiver, would be a fun pick. Very similar to the CeeDee Lamb pick, where you didn't really need a wide receiver, but CeeDee Lamb wasn't expected to drop all the way to 17. Quentin Johnson should not be available at 26, so Dallas kind of follows tradition here by going with a talented wide receiver late that shouldn't be there. Antonio Johnson, one of my draft crushes, going to Buffalo at 27. If they do lose Jordan Poyer, this makes a lot of sense. This would be a plug-and-play guy, day 1 starter. I absolutely love Cam Smith going to Cincinnati here at 28. It wouldn't surprise me he ends up being a day 1 starter. He'll eventually replace Eli Apple. It's just really a matter of time. I love Gibbs going to the Saints at 29. For those of you who don't know, Alvin Kamara is going to miss some time this year. I don't want to go into too much detail, but he is going to miss some time this year. He is going to be suspended, most likely for 6 games. Gibbs can step in, but Gibbs and Kamara could actually be used on the same could be used on the field at the same time. Gibbs is a smaller player, but he does a lot of the same things. Excellent receiver, so you can split him out, you can put him in the backfield, and depending on how much time Kamara misses, this guy could withstand 20 to 25 touches a game during that time Kamara's absent. Now keep in mind, one of the things I love most about the Saints and how they use Kamara is that he's not asked to have 300 to 400 touches a season. They use him sparingly, so they have a 1-2 punch. That's what I really love about this. Lucas Van Ness going to the Eagles at 30 just makes a lot of sense. Now, I'm told that he's going to put on a show at the Combine. A lot of people think that he's going to go top 15, maybe even top 10. I don't think he is. I think he's versatile, and while talented, the fact that he didn't start in college, I think is great value for the Eagles at 30. And what offers, and this is great for Philadelphia because he doesn't have to start day 1, and when he does come in, you can use him at a variety of different positions. If I'm Lucas Van Ness, this is a dream spot for me because I get to go to a team where I don't have to start day 1, and I'm going to a winner, and I'm going to a major media market. And I'm also going to a place where my skill set can be used the right way. I think using him in a scheme that's a 4-3-3-4 hybrid is perfect for Van Ness. So this is a great pick. Almost more for Van Ness than it is for the Eagles. And finally, pick number 31, Jalen Hyatt, the speedster. It would not surprise me if Hyatt breaks 4.3 at the combine. He is fast, big time fast. Now, Kansas City's the perfect spot for Hyatt. And remember Sky Moore, he didn't really contribute much as a rookie. However, in the playoffs, he had a touchdown in the Super Bowl and a big play in the AFC Championship game to help get to the Super Bowl. And that's the type of impact you could see for Hyatt. I wouldn't expect him to have more than 30, 40 catches during the regular season, but he might be able to contribute big time in the playoffs, and then he could be a starter in 2024. If you're Jalen Hyatt, this is the perfect spot for you. However, I don't see him contributing a lot day one. So this concludes my breakdown of Bucky Brooks' mock draft, his 2.0 mock draft. Watch this video where I break down Daniel Jeremiah's draft, and keep in mind, I go live every Friday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on the live stream. All questions are answered and anything goes. Also, I will release my first mock draft Tuesday, March the 7th. So, hey, I hope to see you soon.